Good evening, I'm Maria Hermosillo.
And I'm Cameron Johnson, and this is DVC News of the Day. If you can't already tell by the mask, the COVID pandemic is still raging. Most states have gone back to the highest levels of precautions, and most counties in California are reverting to the purple level with tighter control on social gatherings, indoor dining, gyms, and more. But there is some positive news. At least 2 vaccine trials have tested to be over 90% effective in preventing the coronavirus. There are even some new claims that can make testing even more available, including an unusual diagnostic technique, as Blake Patchin reports.
This new and incredible upcoming app may just be able to test you for the novel coronavirus, simply by listening to the sound of your voice. Since June of this year, a team at the University of Oklahoma has been working on using AI and machine learning to test for COVID-19. And even, better yet, to be able to distinguish a COVID cough from asthma, a cold, or any number of other conditions. On September 30th of this year, MIT put out a paper using the largest data set yet. Remarkably, it had a 100% detection rate of asymptomatic people. AI has been able to diagnose other diseases in the past, such as Alzheimer's. An author of the paper, Subarana, stated that the model was accurate 98.5% of the time at detecting people who had received a positive test result. Ally Edel, who headed the project at the University of Oklahoma, has created an app for the AI model that can distinguish a COVID-19 cough from others. The app is currently unavailable to the general consumer, but Imran and several other teams around the globe are hoping that they can have an app up and running for everyone who wants it later.
While Americans are staying at home to keep the pandemic under control, many people in France are doing just the opposite. Andrew Newscast has that report.
When most think of getting away to the countryside, it's for vacation. In the case of tens of thousands of French and Parisians, it's to escape 1984's lockdowns. According to my contact at the local France, the 29th of October marks a second mass migration from France. Responses to new draconian measures President Macron set, requiring daily government papers, constant updates, and tracking of all who step outside. This exodus via any means, by train, metro, car, whatever available, led to significant gridlock, with some speculation saying 100-plus roads have been occupied by unmoving vehicles. Many students returning home from universities closed, or people on business or holiday. Many wealthy have also left, as Paris apartments, even expensive ones, tend to be quite small and have no gardens. Ultimately, fears rose as the French public health body Santé Publique France reported sharp rises in depressive illnesses, and French medics have concern about the effects of stopping medical treatments as hospitals fill with COVID patients. More bad news, as France, having received almost $200 billion in tourism revenue in 2016 alone, is very concerned at the loss of income, with the government creating a multi-million euro package for the tourist sector. The French economy projects a 9 to 10% shrink, so tourism hopes numbers regain quickly. Large concerns not addressed. Those fleeing could have contracted COVID during their time around so many others, and distance from significant medical facilities in the countryside may see many cases popping all up at once as people scramble to get to places of medical significance. We may see in 14 days a large influx. This is Andrew, back to you.
The oil company Shell wants to know what you are willing to do to end climate change. And not surprisingly, the corporation is being called out for their hypocrisy by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, as Ally Edel tells us.
Looking for your local gas station? We all know it.
But did you know that Shell is the third largest oil and gas company in the industry, making it one of the top contributors to global warming? November 2nd, the company took to Twitter to ask, what are you willing to change to help reduce emissions?
I already bought an electric vehicle 2 years ago. I'd like to know what Shell plans to do.
Many others share the same concern. The Democratic representative for New York's 14th District, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, responded to Shell's hypocrisy in a series of heated tweets. I'm willing to hold you accountable for lying about climate change for 30 years when you secretly knew the entire time that fossil fuel emissions would destroy our planet. Along with the audacity of Shell asking you what you're willing to do to help reduce emissions.
I completely agree with what Ocasio-Cortez says. These super major corporations need to be held accountable.
From outside Shell, I'm Ally Edel. Back to you.
We'll be right back after this.
In America, one little number can tell us a lot about a person.
How successful at school will they be? What job will they have?
How long will they live?
Is it the choices we make that determine our success?
You might think so, but actually, when it comes to predicting how long you will live or how successful you will be at school, your zip code can tell us much more than your genetic code.
One little number can change everything. The air you breathe,
Quality of your neighborhood school.
Your ability to buy fresh fruits and vegetables.
What jobs are in your neighborhood?
all come down to one little 5-digit number.
The Boys and Girls Clubs are committed to breaking this cycle. We will do whatever it takes to bring high-quality, out-of-school services to all kids who need us, no matter their zip code.
We have created a whole new way to mentor, teach, and have fun with our club kids.
Online?
In a box?
In secure learning hubs.
Because we want to change your zip code being your destiny.
It doesn't have to be this way. And as we rebuild after COVID-19, we are committed to doing whatever it takes to support all of Contra Costa's kids, no matter their zip code.
Join us as we do whatever it takes to change kids' lives. Donate today.
Here in California, we have also been dealing with an incredibly destructive fire season, which has been one of the worst in state history. An effort to improve firefighters' ability to protect lives and property, new tools are being put to work. William Shirley has more on that.
With California experiencing a record-breaking fire season with over 80 to 100 fires during 2020, officials are looking for new ways to ensure public safety and to protect California's beautiful land. Well, Contra Costa County firefighters may have found just the solution. On Friday the 23rd of October, here at Buchanan Field Airport, Contra Costa County firefighters unveiled a new aircraft designed specifically for fighting fires, and they are calling it Conair 1. Conair 1 is an Airbus H-145 helicopter specifically designed for firefighting and to quickly and efficiently deliver mass amounts of water to remote locations, boasting a large 180-gallon payload. Conair 1 has a bright future of helping to protect California's public and wildlife and has already seen action by putting out flames in Moraga and Orinda area this wildfire season.
Fires in California do much more lasting damage than people realize. In addition to the destruction of homes and tragic loss of lives, fires have a hidden effect on one of the largest segments of California's economy, farms and farmers. Lena McGee reports.
To October 2nd of 2020, 364,000 acres were burned down. According to CAL FIRES, the LCU Lightning Complex wildfires took its toll in the Napa, Sonoma, Lake, Yolo, and Solano counties. Now, major farms are preparing for future drought seasons to have a similar impact on annual harvests. If the drought seasons persist, as we have seen in years past, wildfires will increase. With the health risks of smoke and cases of COVID-19 jeopardizing communities, masks are necessary during laborers' work collecting crops. Farmers are planning earlier harvests now to assure the safety of their land and their crops' produce quality. This is Lena McGee, signing off.
So Maria, how about the special report with the intermediate and advanced students?
Yes, we did a Zoom call interviewing students and the effects it had with their work life during the coronavirus pandemic.
Let's take a look.
Just as is true for television studio production, things don't always go as planned. This year, more than ever, we've been going through the rocks with some new challenges. How have we survived 2020? How have we made it this far, guys? James, how are you doing, Mr. James Boyce?
I'm doing okay. I've been trucking through as best I can.
James, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
I've been doing broadcasts, live streaming, and recording since I was in high school. And I've been taking it a step up and developing my skills more by taking these classes here at DVC. And then here at work, I work at the Boys and Girls Clubs of Contra Costa over here in Martinez. And I've been able to use the skills that I've learned from class and my experience over the years to be able to bring broadcasting and recording to our organization so we can make content for the community we serve for after-school supplements without them coming in to our clubhouse.
What is your occupation, Adrian?
Hi. I work at the Safeway on 707 Contra Costa Boulevard by the school. I work on the deli department.
What about you, Alan?
Because of the virus, I was planning to go into another job that I was interviewed for already, and they said they would call me back. So I quit my old job to get ready for it, but after a while, they never really called me back. So I'm assuming because of the virus, they didn't get back to me.
How about you, Alex?
Yeah, because I work at a restaurant, and once like all the stay-at-home orders like went through, it was pretty much my boss was unsure about like how much like people would be coming to get to-go orders, so he had to pretty much just fire most of the staff.
How would you guys say the beginning stages of the pandemic were? When we first started and everything got shut down, some of us got laid off. I definitely got laid off in February, and it was weird. The days started to seem like they were all just the same.
So it's like kind of been like the whole year just felt like a slow loop. Well, it's not really a loop. I don't know the right word for it. It just still feels like time has lost meaning, even though we're almost done with the year.
Do people wear masks, or have you had any problems?
People are trying to wear the mask, but you'll still have people like hanging it off their ear, trying to act like we don't see them with like no mask or anything. But what we see, and then when we call them out, they get frustrated at us or get mad at us that we call them out because like you can't be in the store if you don't have a mask.
You'd be surprised how many anti-maskers are actually around here. It happens with me a lot of times too when I'm working at Lemongrass downtown. Occasionally they'll have us make deliveries, and I always have to go down to this bar called Five Sons. Nobody wears a mask down there. It's crazy. Just absolutely just hanging out.
I know exactly what you mean, Cameron. I go down there at least once, twice a day, and nobody downtown is wearing a mask outside.
What about you, James, since you're working with children? Have you had a huge effect?
Yeah, we shut down our location so that way, not only to protect the staff, but to protect the youth we serve. So that way, in case somebody came, we didn't want this to be a petri dish of COVID, so to speak. So we closed down and we furloughed all of our staff. I got brought back on after being furloughed after a couple of days because we were trying to come up with a plan of how we're still going to stay relevant, basically. With my job here, I'm used to curveballs and stuff changing on the fly all the time. So when the pandemic happened, I didn't really feel the whole effect of having to wear a mask and changing things. It was just kind of another thing to roll with. But the more we've been going into it and the more we've been trying to help people, the more we've been seeing that this pandemic has really turned some people upside down.
If you guys could go to the past and ask yourself or tell yourself three words, what would they be before the pandemic started?
I got it.
Adrian?
This year sucks. Period.
James?
Stay busy and coffee.
What about you, Alex?
Wash your hands.
Extended spring break.
That's pretty true.
Very extended.
Thank you all for joining us today, and I hope your work situations get better.
I'm Cameron Johnson.
I'm Maria Hermosillo, and back to us at the studio.
Hollywood actress Lori Loughlin, convicted of bribing the University of Southern California with $500,000 to get her daughters into the school as crew team recruits, even though neither of them participate in sports, is about to begin her sentence, as our correspondent Emily Sanchez tells us.
Full House star Lori Loughlin and husband Massimo Giannulli, and among almost a dozen other A-list parents convicted in the college admission bribe scandal, all received their prison sentences, along with the date which they must report to prison. Laughlin's prison date, set for November 6th, has now been changed to October 30th. Along with time behind bars, the actress is being fined $150,000 and 100 hours of community service. She's now serving her 2-month sentence at Federal Correctional Institution in Lompoc, California.
Let's turn to the world of entertainment with our own Sam Hussey. Sam, what's new in showbiz?
There's a lot to tell you about, Maria. And there's something for everyone, whether you're a fan of movies, video games, or even girl groups that only exist in the virtual world. But let's start out here on the ground with our reporter, Michael Abrahamian, outside a theater that has been pretty quiet for months.
2020 has been a rough year for movie theaters, but one took the impact harder. AMC revenues have dropped since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. Most AMC theaters were able to stay open with a capacity of 20 to 40%, except for the ones in New York and California. Those theaters dropped their revenue 90%. Not only that, but the number of films being produced lowered. Pop some popcorn and enjoy the movie from your own couch.
Speaking of movies, if you are a fan of Demon Slayer and can't wait to see the movie, reporter Ken Apostol says you better cross your fingers. Ken brings us more now.
Like the gentle flow of water, but the fierce nature of fire, Demon Slayer Infinity Train has become Japan's #1 hit movie recently. Throughout North America, fans of the series are waiting patiently for the series to finally come out outside of Japan.
In just 3 weeks, the movie has gained over $150 million in sales and almost 12 million total admissions sold.
The main issue for fans, specifically those from the US, is the threat of COVID-19.
Recently, COVID is spiking across the country once again, with certain counties and cities planning to close.
But with all the hype of the Demon Slayer movie going around, will fans and moviegoers be willing to attend at local theaters? We ask a few locals on what their take is.
Well, I know COVID is bad to get. I'm not trying to catch it.
Honestly, I'd be down to watch the Demon Slayer movie. Despite COVID happening, I know there's a lot going on, but I hope by the time it does come out, COVID's gonna be over.
Probably not, because I wasn't the biggest fan of Demon Slayer when watching it. But if it was Attack on Titan, then I definitely would.
I don't even know what Demon Slayer is, so no. Also, not to mention there is COVID. I care about my health and it can wait.
This is Ken Apostol, signing off.
What would you do if you were on the winning team in the League of Legends Championship? Video game streaming is gaining popularity, and the players on winning teams are getting big bucks and prize money. With more on that here, Sebastian Davis.
Damwon Gaming has officially won the League of Legends World Championship. This championship is very important because it can help players earn money to help them and their families. Some people decide to spend the money on a house, a car, any other luxury item or thing of their dreams, but this particular player decided to spend money on the popular game Genshin Impact. In Genshin Impact, you can progress farther by spending money on loot boxes. This particular player, Damwon's support player Beryl, spent up to $7,000 on Genshin Impact loot boxes. What a way to celebrate your victory.
Here's something I never thought I'd see. Korean K-pop stars who got their start in the video game who don't even really exist are getting so popular, they're releasing their first EP. Precious Batista brings us this special report.
Virtual girl group KDA releases their first EP titled All Out this month. The South Korean group is comprised of 4 League of Legends video game characters and are voiced by various American and Korean artists. Shown here is the augmented reality performance of their first single, Pop Stars, which bolstered the group to have the most successful debut of any K-pop group to date at the opening ceremony of the 2018 League of Legends World Championship. Due to their popularity worldwide, Riot Games has decided to release a whole EP for the group with their lead single titled More. With the music video at over 35 million views at the time of reporting, the album is out now on all streaming platforms.
Play by the rules and you win, but watch out if you stream on Twitch. You might get busted because of the DMCA, which is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Copyrighted music or songs from famous artists in your live stream can result in getting banned. Noah De Jesus reports.
On October 20th, famous live streamers from Twitch, a platform where several people can post or live stream content globally, are being banned or forced to take down years of work again. So this is not the first time this happened. Due to the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. This means that any copyrighted music put on these live streamers' content can result in erasing videos, or getting banned, Twitch can send emails regarding a copyright infringement issue on the streamer's channel, which are called DMCA strikes. If a streamer gets several strikes from Twitch, then the channel can get banned. And on top of that, if the content was several years ago, the results are still the same. Even the top streamers with over 1 million followers are being banned and forced to take down their years of work of content. This is Noah De Jesus from the DVC News. Thank you.
That's it for entertainment news. Ria?
We'll be right back after this commercial.
This election day voted to become the first state to decriminalize harder drugs like meth and heroin. This makes them the first state to do so, and many believe it marks the final days of the drug war. A second part of the 110 initiative is that it will allow tax revenue from marijuana sales to pay for the treatment and rehabilitation of addicts. The initiative hasn't made the drug use legal, instead it has just made the maximum punishment for possession of small amounts of small fine. Larger amounts and intent to sell is still treated as a felony. This is one of multiple recreational drug-based initiatives passed throughout the country, including marijuana legalization in several states.
Founder of the company Nixon, Keith Raniere, has been sentenced to 120 years in prison. The trial ended in a guilty verdict on October 27, 2020. U.S. District Judge Nicholas Garufas, who was the primary judge on the trial, heard from multiple testimonies of Mr. Raniere's criminal actions. He followed that up by saying that the crimes Raniere were accused of were cruel, perverse, and extremely serious. Mr. Raniere was first arrested last year in 2019. He had been charged with multiple felonies, including racketeering, sex exploitation, and child and human trafficking. Throughout all of this, Mr. Raniere stands firm and still claims his innocence, and believes that the testimonies in the trial were all made by liars. Now that the trial is finally over, the victims of Mr. Raniere can now start the long road to recovery, knowing that the man that caused them so much pain is finally behind bars. I'm Reese Dangerfield, and thank you for watching.
A spider silk is stronger than steel and Kevlar, pound for pound, but it does not start out that way. The spider silk starts out as a liquid that is called dope, but in fractions the protein transforms not just into a solid. When they come out of a spider, the protein building blocks of silk called spideroins. To transform the spideroins, they have to fold and interlace themselves to create a highly organized structure without the guidance of the outside force. A structural biologist and biochemist named Dr. Ali Malay has said you can really generate materials with unique properties by exploiting this self-assembly process. However, Dr. Malay has not figured out the whole process of how it works, and neither does everyone else. Him and his colleagues have found a way to tackle the spider silk puzzle by using chemical tools from their lab to copy the exit from the spinnerets, according to a paper that was published Wednesday.
Nearly 600 cats and dogs arrived in Oregon from Hawaii to become someone's new furry friend. The rescue dogs will be housed in Oregon's Humane Society and Humane Society of Southwest Washington to be adopted into Oregon, Washington, and other western states' homes. They were mostly strays, but will be on an adventure to find a new home, as our pet expert Selena Torres explains along with some reactions from her family and her dogs.
Today, we are at the Torres residence, home to a family of 5 birds, 4 dogs, 3 cats, and 2 turtles. It gets quite noisy around here, and if you listen closely, you might be able to hear one of their many birds. What is your name?
Sylvia.
And you are part of the Torres residence?
Yes, I am.
What do you think about this news?
I think it's great. I think it's good for people to adopt, to have new friends, but there wouldn't be so many had people spayed and neutered their animals.
Would you want to adopt more pets?
Yes, not right now. At the moment, I have 4 dogs, 3 cats, 2 turtles, and 5 birds.
Had you had the chance, would you get another furry friend?
Yes.
Any last thoughts?
Spay and neuter your pets. That's the key.
What is your name?
Betty.
What do you think about this news that there's new adoptable pets in the Pacific West?
I think it's a good thing. Besides for the pets, even for a lot of people, it gives them company. A lot of people are alone right now. Helps make them feel good.
Would you want to adopt more pets?
Not right now. We have a bunch.
If you had the chance to adopt more, would you?
Yeah.
Any last thoughts?
No, I just hope more people can keep doing it. It's good for owners and for the pets.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, what is your name? Would you like new pets? Do you want a new friend? Do you have any last thoughts? No. Okay, thank you. Would you like a new friend? No? Any last thoughts? Okay, thank you. What's your name? Your name's Penny. Would you like some new friends? What do you think about this news? Any last thoughts, Penny? No? Thank you.
Thanks, Selena. You know, Maria, maybe we should spring for some real microphones for Selena.
That's a good idea, Cameron. Maybe a new set in here too. Or is that asking for too much?
That's the news. I'm Cameron Johnson.
I'm Maria Hermosillo. Good night.